Hey everybody, it's the Burnout Network here with a quick look at your starting lineup for the 105th running of the Indianapolis 500. Before we get to the starting lineup, we have to cover the drivers who got bumped out of the Indy 500 field on qualifications day number 2. 5 drivers competed for the last 3 spots in the final row of the Indy 500, and unfortunately 2 drivers did have to go home as we had 35 cars on the entry list. Those 2 cars would be the number 11 of Charlie Kimball from AJ Foyt Racing and the number 75 of R.C. Enerson from the new Top Gun Racing team. Despite their best efforts, the number 11 and 75 could not break the 228 mile per hour mark on their 4-lap average, and they would be bumped from the 105th running of the Indianapolis 500. And with that, we move to our full starting grid for the Indy 500. We start with row number 11, those 3 drivers who qualified their way in the last row shootout. Starting 33rd on the field is Simona De Silvestro in the first race for the new Beretta Autosport team. Simona was just able to make her way into the field, but with a Penske-backed Chevy power plant, she is looking to make her way through the field over the course of the 500-mile event. Starting the race 32nd is your 2018 Indy 500 winner, Will Power. Despite a tense first day of qualifying for the champ and a second day which included a hit into the wall during the last row shootout, Will Power still found his way into the 33-car field. Expect this former winner to use strategy to find his way toward the front of the field. And starting 31st, your fastest driver in the last row shootout, Sage Karum will be starting his 8th Indy 500, driving for the Dreyer and Reinbold Racing team. As we move ahead to the 10th row for the starting lineup, Dalton Kellett sits in 30th position, driving the number 4 AJ Foyt Racing Chevrolet. The driver from Canada will be competing in his 2nd Indianapolis 500. Our 29th starter, Max Chilton, has taken off most ovals in the last few seasons of his INDYCAR career, but each year he keeps the Indy 500 on the schedule, hoping that he and his Carlin team can walk away with the Borg-Warner trophy. And starting 28th for the Indy 500 is the slowest Honda in the field. That would be Stephen Wilson out of the Andretti Steinbrenner Autosport team. This will be Wilson's 3rd attempt at the Indy 500, and he hopes having the Andretti Honda power plant underneath him, he can make a run from the back of the pack. Moving on to row number 9, we see 3 veterans of the NTT IndyCar Series. Starting 27th is the 14 of Sebastian Bourdais, driving for AJ Foyt Racing in his Chevrolet. While Sebastian has earned countless wins and 4 IndyCar Series championship titles, he has yet to earn the win at the Indianapolis 500. Could this be his year? Starting the race 26th is your 2019 Indy 500 champion, Simon Pagenaud, driving the 22 Team Penske Chevrolet. While achieving success at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Simon Pagenaud has had a rough week, but can he use his experience to bounce back on Sunday? And rounding out the 9th row, starting 25th is your 2020 Indy 500 pole sitter, Marco Andretti. While stepping back from full-time IndyCar competition, the driver of the number 98 wants yet another chance to kiss the bricks at Indy and put an Andretti back in victory lane at the famed track. As we move up to row number 8, we see 3 part-time drivers. Starting 24th is your 2-time Indy 500 winner, Juan Pablo Montoya, driving this time for Arrow McLaren SP. After spending time in the IMSA Sports Car Championship, Montoya returns to Indy to try to become just the 11th driver to win the Indy 500 3 or more times. Starting 23rd in the middle of row number 8 is young American Santino Ferrucci, this time driving for Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing in their number 45 Honda. While Ferrucci made the decision in the offseason to leave IndyCar racing and race in NASCAR, he's a great pickup for the Rahal Letterman Lanigan team to race in the 500, as he's finished in the top 10 both times in his 2 attempts. And starting the race 22nd is the number 1 AJ Foyt Racing Chevrolet of J.R. Hildebrand. After missing out on drinking the milk at Indy in 2011 by just 1 turn, J.R. Hildebrand has consistently returned to the Speedway looking for that elusive Indy 500 win. As we move up to row number 7, this is where we find the 2-time champion Josef Newgarden as he's slated to start 21st in the 2021 Indy 500. Newgarden has won virtually everything in the NTT IndyCar Series except the Indy 500. Can he do it this weekend? In order to do so, Penske will have to improve on their qualifying speed, and we have yet to see that in the practice sessions this week. Starting in 20th is the number 60 of Jack Harvey, driving for Meyer-Shank Racing. The Meyer-Shank team has shown speed early on this season, but they've had a few mechanical bumps along the way. Can he overcome them and get a solid finish here at Indy? And starting 19th is local Indiana driver Connor Daly, driving the 47 for Ed Carpenter Racing. Despite not equaling the effort of his teammates in the 20 and 21 in qualifying, is this the year that Connor Daly delivers a result at his home track? At row number 6, we have two veterans of the INDYCAR series, as well as our first of two rookies in this race. Starting in 18th and driving in his 14th Indy 500, Graham Rahal will pilot the number 15 Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing Honda. After a hot start to the season and multiple top 5 finishes in this race, is 2021 the year where Graham Rahal matches his father and wins at Indy? Starting 17th and your fastest qualifier for Team Penske is rookie Scott McLaughlin. After multiple championship seasons in Australian supercars, Team Penske brings the New Zealand driver over to the States to compete in open wheel racing, and it's already been a success, earning a podium at Texas Motor Speedway. Can he stand atop the podium in his first Indy 500 start? And starting 16th in the number 29 is the mayor of Hinchtown, James Hinchcliffe, returning back to full-time IndyCar competition and taking another shot at the Indy 500. After winning the Indy 500 pole in 2016 and now returning to Andretti Autosport, Hinchcliffe hopes he can dance his way to yet another top 10 finish in the big race. As we move up to row number 5 for the starting lineup of the Indy 500, we crack the top 15. Qualifying 15th is your two-time and defending Indy 500 champion Takuma Sato with Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. The driver from Japan not afraid to push the limit, and that's garnered him 3 podium finishes in the last 4 Indy 500s. If the number 30 Honda is running late in the race, don't be surprised if it's at the front of the pack. Starting in 14th is Felix Rosenqvist and the number 7 Arrow McLaren SP Chevrolet. The driver from Sweden looking to jumpstart his season, as he's yet to earn a top 10 finish through the first 5 races of this season. Could this Sunday finally be the race where he breaks through? And starting in 13th position is our second and final Indy 500 rookie, Pietro Fittipaldi. The F1 reserve driver and grandson of Emerson Fittipaldi hopes the momentum continues for the number 51 team after road course driver Roman Grosjean finished second after a pole-winning run at the IMS road course. As we inch closer towards the front of the field, we reach row number 4. Starting in 12th is the number 5 Arrow McLaren SP Chevrolet of Pato O'Ward. After an incredible 2020 campaign, Pato finally reached victory lane this season at Texas, the most recent oval event. The young driver from Mexico sits 4th in points and wants to jump in the championship hunt, and a win at Indy would do just that. Starting in 11th is the number 18 of Ed Jones driving for Dale Coyne Racing. After taking the 2020 season off, the driver from Dubai returns to the IndyCar grid in 2021, but is yet to earn a top 10 finish. But it could come here at Indy, as he finished on the podium in his first race in 2017. And starting 10th in the Indy 500 is your 2016 Indy 500 champ, Alexander Rossi. After a disappointing 2020 season, Alexander Rossi looked to rebound and compete for the championship in 2021. Unfortunately, things have not panned out well for that number 27 Honda. But if there was any track for him to go to change his luck, it would be the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as he has 4 top 10 finishes in his 5 Indy 500 starts. As we move to row number 3 on the starting lineup, these are your top 9 drivers who qualified on day number 1 and moved to the Firestone Fast 9 to compete for the pole at the Indy 500 on day number 2. Coming in at 9th is Marcus Erickson in his number 8 Chip Ganassi Racing Honda. The former F1 driver has now completed 2 full seasons in the NTT IndyCar Series and will compete in his 3rd Indy 500 this weekend. Will this be his first finish in the top half of the running order? We'll have to tune in to see. Starting the race in 8th is the 3-time Indy 500 champion Helio Castroneves. After multiple successful IndyCar and IMSA seasons with the captain, Helio now moves to a part-time IndyCar seat with Meyer-Shank Racing. After a successful qualifying run and with a Honda power plant underneath them, Helio looks to become just the 4th different driver to get 4 Indianapolis 500 trophies. And starting 7th in the 2021 Indy 500 is your 2014 Indy 500 champ, Ryan Hunter-Reay. The driver of the number 28 DHL Honda hopes his recent string of top 10 finishes at the Speedway continues, as your 2012 INDYCAR champion currently sits 17th in points and desperately needs to turn his season around. And in row number 2, we see a couple veterans. Starting 6th is the number 10 of Alex Polo in his first season with Chip Ganassi Racing. The young driver from Spain started this season off with a bang, getting a victory down in Alabama. After a string of top 10 finishes, including 2 at the most recent oval races at Texas Motor Speedway, he currently sits 2nd in the points and could be a dark horse to get the victory at Indianapolis. Starting in 5th for the Indy 500 is fan favorite Tony Kanaan, this time driving the number 48 for Chip Ganassi Racing. The 2013 Indy 500 winner will start his 20th Indianapolis 500 event this season, and he's definitely a threat to make it to victory lane after earning 10 top 10 finishes in his 19 starts. And starting 4th, just missing out on the front row for the Indy 500, is 3-time Indy 500 pole winner Ed Carpenter. The INDYCAR Oval specialist is hoping his qualifying speed will carry over into the 500-mile event, where Ed Carpenter hopes to earn his 3rd top 10 finish in the past 4 seasons. And we've now made it to the front row starters for the 2021 Indy 500. Starting in 3rd is the number 21 Ed Carpenter Racing Chevrolet of Rinus VeeKay. The 2020 IndyCar Series Rookie of the Year hopes to keep the positive momentum moving after winning his first IndyCar Series event just this month here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. With the fastest Chevy on track in qualifying and momentum on his side, Rinus VeeKay is a driver you can't count out come this Sunday. And starting 2nd for the 2021 Indy 500 is the young driver of the number 26 Gamebridge Honda for Andretti Autosport, Colton Herta. Despite winning early in the season at St. Pete, it's been an up and down season for Colton. The 21-year-old Californian is looking to flex his muscles here at the Oval at Indianapolis and show that he can win every single week and has to be considered one of the favorites for this Sunday's race. And the pole sitter for the 105th running of the Indianapolis 500 is your 6-time IndyCar champion Scott Dixon. With a 4-lap average speed of 231.695 miles per hour around the 2.5-mile oval at Indianapolis, Scott Dixon earned his 4th Indy 500 pole. Despite only having one victory in the 500-mile event coming in 2008, he does have 12 top 10 finishes in his 18 starts, and 8 of those being in the top 5, meaning if Scott Dixon is in the running late, he is in contention to win the race. And there we have it, the starting lineup for the 105th running of the Indianapolis 500. Be sure to tune into the race and pre-race coverage this Sunday, May 30th on NBC Sports. You can catch pre-race coverage starting at 9 a.m. on NBCSN, and be sure to catch the changeover at 11 to NBC, with the green flag happening just after 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and comment down below who your pick is to win the 2021 Indy 500. As always, subscribe to the Burnout Network for more great racing content. And until next time, burn it down!